Welcome to this week's episode of Humans in 5.
On this week's Materials and Methods episode, we're going to continue our series asking, what's in a skeleton?
As we've mentioned before, there's a lot of information encoded in our bones, and as biological anthropologists, we're often curious in how we can start to decode the stories our bones may tell.
Last time, we talked about how we can learn a little about someone's biological sex from their skeleton. Today, we're going to take a look at how our skeletons can tell us a little about age.
The human skeleton changes as we get older, and these changes are the most dramatic when we're children and teenagers. Kids grow at an exceptionally rapid rate, and as they grow, they hit certain developmental landmarks that both leave traces on the skeleton and tend to happen at certain ages.
Remember collecting all those teeth for the tooth fairy? Children both lose and gain new teeth at very predictable rates. Our baby or deciduous teeth and our adult or permanent teeth develop and come in and out of our jaw at steady rates. So, a quick check of which deciduous or permanent teeth have developed and emerged in kids can give a pretty accurate estimate of how old they might be.
While our teeth are busy growing in our jaws, the rest of our bodies also grow at a fast pace. Long bones actually develop in a clever manner that allows us to shoot from tiny tykes to full-grown humans across our development.
Long bones have shafts or diaphyses and joint surfaces or epiphyses. To make our growth spurts easy, these two parts of our long bones are not actually connected in our youth. This means that the shafts can grow in length without interfering with how our joints function when we move.
However, as our bones stop growing into our late teens and adulthood, these two components of our long bones start to fuse together to create a whole, strong, long bone. The fusion of these bony elements also sticks to a pretty steady timeline as we grow up.
These methods of checking teeth and long bones are great in kids, but adults aren't growing anymore. Since we're not developing in size or gaining new teeth after a certain age, it can get a lot harder to estimate someone's age from their skeleton. However, there are a few handy methods that can give us a rough estimate of someone's age once they're out of puberty.
For example, the joints around our hips are very unique. They're quite tight to make sure our pelvis can hold our weight. However, with time, the bony surfaces of our pelvic joints start to experience some surface changes just through ordinary everyday movement. These changes within the joint leave marks on the joint surface and can give us a rough prediction of how old an adult might be.
There are other methods as well, including looking at the joint surfaces of our ribs and looking at how the cells of our bony tissues change over time as our bones maintain themselves during our lifespan.
All of these methods are handy for researchers looking at the bones of past human populations, but they're not perfect. The biggest problem with all of these methods is that they determine biological age, or the age of an individual based on their biological stage of growth and development.
However, not everyone ages on exactly the same timeline. Sometimes biological age may not be a perfect match for someone's chronological age, or their actual age in years since birth. So while these methods give us a hand, they all need to be taken with a grain of salt.
We hope you haven't aged too much during this episode, and our old bones will see you next time on Humans in 5.